the mouth-body connection, and so if we can have a cleaner mouth and a less sick body, I think that's worthwhile. So I watch folks get old, frankly, and they, from one appointment to the other, a year or two later, they have taken a serious turn down physically. It's not always mentally. And I needed to figure out what was happening to us and why, and is there anything I can do? My profession ignores us, but I could figure it out in these days. So this is what I came up with. I did write a textbook about chlorine biochemistry and everything here. This is about 3 or 4 chapters out of that 20 of them, because it's useful and I need to tell us this, the world this. All right, so if I just read this, I hope you forgive me. So this talk is how to stay upright and out of the nursing home, a bioscience demonstration by the elder dentist, Dr. Paul Serby, because every infection drags you down, and I'll show you how to stay safe and healthy. He said, you didn't do squat. Oh, how undramatic. All right, this isn't supposed to work. I didn't turn it on. I told you, I'm not a professional at this. Please give me a little slack here. There you go, boom. All right, loss of mobility, loss of independence, being a burden. I've seen the folks, they end up more and more on the God bless these little things that let us get around here. The more you feel like a burden, the worse your mental state becomes. The worse your mental state and physical decline, the more you feel like a burden, which is a common downward spiral that might end with you alone as a permanent patient in nursing homes. I love the independent living idea. It's a little dangerous because we're all in a group, and we need to take that into account, which is later on. So I would say if you have a choice, choose a healthy aging path, less traveled. There are some folks who live to be over 100 in Okinawa, super agers, and they look at them, and what they have in common is they do all the right things well, but their immune system is very quiet. They have very little inflammation, and therefore, obviously, very few infections. Whereas when the normal Aussians, you get older and older, and when something starts to happen, it's always a downward inflammating is what they call it. When your immune system is turned on and won't turn off, chronic infections, your immune system gets stuck in defense mode, and yeah, the last few years are not fun. And I'd prefer this. I had my brush with mortality 4 years ago, open heart surgery, they had to fix a valve. But it wasn't an immune sickness, old body problem, it was a fixable issue. Thank God. 80-year-old dentist putting me back together with Teflon string, I think, and a heart valve. It's awesome. Anyway, graceful, healthy aging is what we want. When the infections and illnesses are minimal and systemic inflammation is low, your immune system repairs and protects you without causing collateral damage. Inflammation. When older immune systems become exhausted, turning inflammatory responses inward to damage rather than protect us. Aging is an immune system-based event, and the immune system recovery is possible. You can shift from a chronic inflammation state toward healthy immune function to slow further aging and avoid more disabilities. All right, the immune system is always on, and what we want is the homeostasis mode. Basically, when you don't have infections, your immune system is helping you stay healthy. The daily background work, it keeps tissues young and safe, and obviously when you're young, it supports growth and repairs of the tissues. It eliminates cancer cells. Your immune system is the system that finds and either eliminates or walls off cancer cells when it's in its healthy mode. Garbage cleanup, healthy debris, dead cell clearance, it has to be cleaned up. Tolerance and balance, there are a lot of germs that live on us. Some are okay, some are not. Let's keep it balanced. Your immune system keeps track of it. And most importantly, detects the invasion with an open skin and a wound or pathogens, bacteria, germs, viruses, and initiates the defense against infection mode, which is a whole new reprogramming of your immune system, because it's going to do one or the other. It's going to keep you healthy and repair things and keep you strong, or it's going to fight germs. And when it does, it's an emergency setting that temporarily turns off the growth and repair and turns on the defense cells and the defense chemistry. It literally reprograms the white blood cells' DNA to change over to go. It's like a farmer turning into a warrior. You know, he was growing things, but now there's a war, so he has got to leave all that behind, pick up the sword and go. And that's what the white blood cells are told to do. And the muscle and fat metabolism are told to change when we have a fight. And eventually the white blood cells deliver the germ-killing chemicals to the infection site. Something has to kill the darn germs. The white blood cells go there and squirt. Believe it or not, they squirt a little bleach. So the white blood cells use chlorine to kill the germ in the site. It happens from the inside, and it takes a whole lot to get it done. Anyway, we finally get some germ-killing chemicals from the inside by the white blood cells, which allows the next phase of the immune system to turn on, the adaptive phase, where T cells and B cells are making antibodies, and then the cells finish cleaning up the job. And then it's supposed to all shut down and revert back to the growth phase. Woo! Growth phase, where'd you go? Hi there, one button. Which is this way. And when it's young, it happens. When we're young, it happens. Because it's fairly natural. God gave us a great system. It does what it needs to, and it all works, and it turns itself off, goes back to the good side. But, and if I tracked it here, muscle cells, fat cells, these are the capillaries, the vascular system, the bone marrow, and all the white blood cells, and the brain. When the immune system is turned on into the defense mode, they all change. So going from muscle cells, go from insulin sensitivity and strength, they temporarily become insulin resistant. The immune system defense says, turn off, become insulin resistant for just a short while, because the white blood cells are fighting an infection battle and they need the glucose in the bloodstream. Same thing with the fat. Eventually, hey, no, leave some fat in the bloodstream because somebody's going to need it downstream in the bacteria fight. Vascular epithelium, they become leaky. That's how the white blood cells get out to the infection, through the blood cells that are the vascular cells, which are sticky and leaky. The problem happens, bone marrow, yeah, this is where the white blood cells originate, and the brain is also told, we are in a defense mode, change to defense mode, so all the changes in here. If it happens temporarily, boom, we come back here, everything's fine. What happens when you get older? What happens if the germs don't go away? Then we get muscle cells, which were sensitive to insulin. Now they're insulin resistant. They stay that way, which is the cause of type 2 diabetes, weakness, for muscle frailty. The muscles were told to not use glucose, not stay strong, because we got to fight somewhere else. They never get the all clear signal to switch back, in my opinion. Same thing with adipose cells. The immune system tells it to temporarily let some fat out. But if it never gets the all clear signal, you end up with obesity, metabolic syndrome, chronic inflammation. Same thing here, vascular, the capillaries temporarily become leaky, but turn off. But if they don't, now we got heart disease, atherosclerosis, because of all the fat in here. The immune system itself is literally responsible for diabetes, metabolic syndrome, cardiovascular disease, immune senescence. It wears itself out. The white blood cells are just not working anymore, so you get nasty infections. And then the brain. The inflammation that it's been told to do causes Alzheimer's. So it's like we got to turn our immune system off, back to the healthy thing. How do we do that? This is where inflammation, it affects everything. When the immune system gets turned on, nothing in the body can escape it. They're all on handouts. I'm not going to run through this stuff and leave you without. You got every little thing that's on here to look at it again if you'd like to, plus some handouts here. Thank you for being interested. Appreciate it. All right, so here it is. The last thing on this is how bad the immune system problem gets. I tried to draw it up, but yes, if we have persistent infections in the nose, mouth, and throat, which gives 24/7 germs and toxins, your immune system, your body knows when there's an infection. It's supposed to. And it's constant immune system activation. And the white blood cells say, fine, we're in defense mode. They turn on the protein alarms. The white blood cells get exhausted. The T cells get exhausted. The cellular damage continues, and it becomes a never-ending cycle that just doesn't go away, and the doctors can't stop it. And you look at it and it's like, well, geez, how about we turn that off? Take away the infection. How do we do that? Well, where do infections come from? Because if you got a system that's locked in a never-ending inflammation phase, you know, all the bad things are happening here. You know, something like bacterial MRSA, bad pneumonia, or COVID in a beat-up immune system, we're crashing. Or, yeah, and this is whatever dies. So my point is, the immune system doesn't break, it exhausts. Collateral damage accelerates, yeah, as we get older, and, well, our immune system, the cells themselves are getting older. And it cascades to a deathly crisis. If this isn't turned off, we get to the point where we take the down, and die. And I look at it like we are doing nothing to turn this off or even address it. I think it's preventable, but only by stopping the infection source before immune exhaustion becomes irreversible. Up there is where the problem is, persistent infections. All right, so we must protect our immune system from more infections. Here's where the germs get in. Here's where we're going to fight back. Wash our hands a million times. I don't get infected hands. Nose, mouth, throat, upper lungs. That's where the damn germs get in. Usually bacteria in the front, viruses in the back. And if we let them in, they get infected by bacteria, viruses, gum disease, everything. It gets all in those areas. So now we know where we got to essentially clean the dirty bacteria out of, rather than waiting for the bacteria to get inside and turning on our immune system yet again. So the mucosa, it's the body's largest immune frontier. Where'd you go? There it is. Our mouth, nose, and throat and upper lungs are ground zero for a war versus pathogens that we're not engaged in yet. Doctors and dentists like us, prefer us, demand us to all get sick first, and then for a fee they'll fix us. And if we can prevent that, and we know how to prevent it, and don't give you that information, I think that's not nice. So here's the information. All right, it gets worse, sorry. All right, bacteria are coming in here. We need to know about, you guys are in a big group. What are the dangers to you people, especially? 4 infection dangers in groups in your livings. The hospital infections are now antibiotic-resistant killers. You go to the hospital, pick up something, it's nasty, there's nothing that can fix it. Medically vulnerable seniors living in close quarters means we're going to get exposures. 3, there are big bacterial and virus reservoirs already in this building. We don't know, I'll show you who they are, where they are, and what to do about them. 4, the most dangerous germ source of all might hide in your mouth. Anyway, infection danger number 1. Infections have become antibiotic-resistant killers, especially after COVID. MRSA, methicillin-resistant Staph aureus, is very common, an aggressive hospital superbug that spreads easily in hospitals, ICUs, and nursing homes. Before antibiotics, 80% of a staph infection, not even the fancy staph, 80% of infections would kill you. They would cut off your hand, you know, if you got caught and it got infected, it was bad. In the lungs, MRSA, which is antibiotic resistant, can cause severe pneumonia that's hard to survive. Bloodstream can rapidly become fatal, sepsis. And on catheters and devices, if you got something in through your skin, MRSA goes in there like everything else, all the other ones. In the worst setting, if you got a hospital-acquired MRSA blood infection after a recent COVID battle, that kills 3 out of 4 of the patients. So they can't, there's no antibiotics that can do it, it's in your blood, and your immune system is beat up from COVID. And or you're just old, but I mean, it's part of the same problem. Anyway, so it gets worse. MRSA is just one. There are, they call it escape, enterococci, resist vancomycin, Staph aureus, that's our friend, Klebsiella, Acinetobacter baumannii. It's in a lot of the lung things they're using in the hospital, and and Pseudomonas aeruginosa, tough, thick biofilm, and it's really hard to kill, and it gets everywhere. And then some kind of Enterobacter, which shares resistance with other germs. So the super germs are sharing it and creating more super germs. So maybe there was one initially, but now we got this whole damn thing, and they're all at the hospital, and they all come home with us. These are the nursing hospital bred superbugs we may be exposed to in hospitals, rehab centers, ICU, and nursing homes. Also, they're coming to seniors group living also. So, yeah, here we are. We're in the seniors group living with the most vulnerable to infection, yet are frequently exposed to the worst hospital-bred supergerms. Sounds awful. I'm sorry. It gets better. Yes, hospital patients carry live bacteria home with them. It's a major source and breeding grounds of antimicrobial resistance. Each visit to the hospital increases exposure to resistant germs on skin and incisions, wounds, and catheters. Remember, after I had my open heart surgery, they were very interested whether I got anything in that big incision. One time I was in the hospital. 1 week, that was enough. Aging, frailty make recovery much less likely. After surviving COVID or flu, your weakened immune defenses leave your body too weak to survive a bacterial hit. So recent COVID raised the odds of death from infections more than 5-fold. So I think also the vaccine raises vaccine is just an immune reaction, and I want the immune system to turn off. And the vaccines turn it on just in case. I'm not a fan. I got none, thank you. Infection danger number 3, invisible infection reservoirs that we are exposed to every day. These are the ones that are already here. Germ-contaminated surfaces. Yes, of course. We're all here. We got to live. We share the room. We do try and clean it, I'm sure. Symptomatic family or neighbors. Yes, the folks who are sick. Yes, you're shedding germs, the coughs, viral bouts. When you're starting to feel bad, you're already contagious. The idea of wearing masks to stay away is not going to work. The idea of wearing masks to keep yourself from being quite so contagious, that's lovely. Please put on a mask so if you cough, or just stay away. And if you've been to recent hospital visits, you're now bound with more stuff. Asymptomatic carriers. Germs can be living on a person, in a nose, in a groin. If you can't get up and move, any of the moist places are going to grow germs. And Typhoid Mary was salmonella from an infected pancreas. She was a cook before the war from Ireland. And she was a cook. She wouldn't stop cooking, but when she would cook for a family without washing her hands, she had salmonella always. And they had to stick her on an island for 31 years because she was getting people sick because she had live germs on her. And the silent reservoir that may be the worst of all are dentures and partials. Studies show dentures worn 24/7 can harbor MRSA and all of those deadly escape supergerms, making them an ignored reservoir, especially around residents after hospital or ICU visits. So the unsterilized dentures harbor a rogues gallery of pathogens. All the bad things we read about can grow on a warm, wet denture. It's a perfect breeding zone. Dentists haven't told us anything about it. After a hospital or ICU visit, the contaminated denture can keep reseeding your mouth, fingers, eyes, wounds with dangerous bacteria and fungi. You'll infect yourself if you leave it in the mouth and take it home or whatever's on there now. In seniors living close together, one neglected denture may become a silent source of spread. Yes, if you're carrying around a denture full of bad germs, living that there, you may not get infected with it, they may not get inside, but boy howdy, you're certainly sharing with everybody. All right, they trigger the infection. So the pneumonia, the bloodstream infections, sepsis, the catheter infections, wound infections, UTIs, and fungal overgrowth, it's all on dentures. And I've seen it for years. Patients spit out an old denture, and I'm like, then I found out they could be sterilized. Like, boy, does that change it. So, yeah, once the organisms move from the denture plaque into the lungs or blood and damaged tissue, the danger rises sharply. It's pretty much an ignored pathway, and a dirty denture is not just nasty and smelly, it is an infection source for you and your neighbors. Back in The first dentist, in 1891, he looked in the mouth and said, oh my God, it's full of bacteria. They finally knew what bacteria were. And they found it in the mouth. He wrote the textbook and decided, boy, it would be nice to get rid of the stuff. And he proved that bacteria make the acids, eat the sugar, make the acids that cause cavities, bacteria. And he gave us a reason why, all right, we gotta have to brush and floss those things away or our teeth will rot because of the bacteria. He believed that the mouth germs could bleed into the body and harm the rest of the body, and that's now been proven true by keeping the immune system turned on, or the germs getting into the bloodstream. It does keep us sick. He sought a disinfectant to kill the germs. Mechanical cleaning leaves behind. He found the cleaning. He never found the germ killing half, and dentists stopped looking, literally. That was 1891. Anyway, here's Dr. Ono in Japan. He's looking for a dilute chlorine disinfectant, and he finds it, 50 parts per million. There's a little chlorine in the drinking water, 1 to 5 parts per million. There's a little bit more chlorine in the pool. A little bit more chlorine makes a perfect antiseptic, kills germs, everything. 15 seconds, all bacteria. Didn't matter if it's antibiotic resistant. Fungus, 15 seconds, everything 15 seconds. Like, well, that's pretty useful. And it's just chlorinated, slightly hyperchlorinated water. And so Dr. Ono investigated, he mixed his own, and it killed everything in 15 seconds. The germ-killing power came from the hypochlorous acid, which is basically chlorine water, HOCl. It's a molecule of chlorine, a molecule of water with a chlorine hanging on it. As simple as it gets. It's a little chlorine water, and that's the same chemical that our white blood cells make on the inside. So he found basically what the white blood cells make, are killing germs and cleaning us up on the inside. He said, boy, that does a good job on the surface. And I look at it and say, boy, wouldn't that be good in the mouth? So, and that's the reference for that there. You could look it up. It's a wonderful study. Anyway, the experts gave us no safe way to sterilize a denture. The deadly germs survived the denture tablet, cleaning tablets. It's a peroxide or something like that, and overnight they kill lots. But you just give it 24 hours, they all grow back. They never go completely away. Dentures can carry the resistant germs. The plastic, methylmethacrylate, is porous, and they live deep in the plastic and under thick layers of biofilm and slime. They're tough to clean. So the tablets reduce it, but it all grows back in a day. And the official dentist policy is good enough, And I say that's bullshit. That's wrong. The tablet company wrote the policy saying, we don't know what clean is. Yes, I know what clean is. No germs. All the germs are dead and it's perfectly clean and no longer contagious. That's clean. And I'd like to see us get to that. Boiling or microwaving a denture can sterilize it. 3 minutes in water in a microwave sterilizes it. You can cook a whole chicken practically in 3 minutes in a microwave. It's way overpowered, and then the linings and stuff will come apart there, but it shows you how tough germs are. 2 minutes in a microwave boiling is not strong enough to kill all the germs. It takes 3 minutes. It took chlorine 15 seconds. So, the real need is a method that kills the germs. Strong bleach kills quickly, but repeated long soaks wouldn't work. So the real method is to find something that kills thoroughly and simply safe to use. This is my job. This is my job to figure it out. So I'm going to say we're going to use dilute chlorine water and let time do the work. If bleach is too harsh, we'll use a dilute chlorine for a longer soak. Chlorine still kills effectively when the concentration is way lower, and then just give it a little bit more time. It's gentle. An overnight soak is easier and safer and less error prone than heat. And taking the thing out at night is just wonderful for a body. The 24/7 wearing of a denture is just asking for trouble, and it just gives the germs all night to grow, and all day the next day, and all day the next day. Fizzy tablets take it down, and then they grow back. So, for daily denture sterilization, 100 parts per million HOCl. Ono said 50 parts per million kills in 15 seconds. I'm like, I'm going to jack it up to 100. Who cares? Anyway, and it's 6 to 8 hour soak. So basically all I'm asking you guys to do is take the denture out. If you have one, tell your friends. Just soak it overnight in some chlorine water. Guess what I've brought here with me today? Bottles of chlorine water and soap. So everybody can have something here pre-made. And Yeah, ideal hygiene. So remove the dentures every night, soak the dentures overnight in fresh chlorine water, disinfectant. Throw away the used chlorine, just use it for the dentures, and it's cheap. Brush teeth thoroughly, clean between the teeth, and brush your tongue. Do a good job of oral cleaning. Yes, Dr. Miller was correct. Brush, brush, brush. He also was looking for the antiseptic. Guess what that is? If you'd like to stop gum disease, you got to kill the germs. Anyway, here's a recipe chart. This is in the paperwork here. You don't have to see it, but basically all it is, for 100 parts per million hypochlorous acid, it's pH 6, which is now all the chlorine is active, according to Dr. Ono. A gallon of water, teaspoon of bleach, teaspoon of vinegar. That's it. Like a pool. You take a bunch of clean water, you add some chlorine, and pH adjust it to just perfect. And it ends up being germ-killing water. And the doctors use 300 parts per million, which would be a tablespoon, and a tablespoon is just 3 times as concentrated. It would kill things even faster. The doctors use it in hospitals for infected wound care, pouring it on the gangrene to try and kill it from the outside. And it works. But they don't make a big deal of it. So you got the recipe. I'm going to give you a sample. And if you're smart and you got dentures and you really want to make some antiseptic and disinfectant to use, test to keep your germs away, I'll give it to you as we go here. Anyway, chlorine. We're using chlorine. Bleach is 50,000 parts per million. It's very, very strong. And they use it. And they use it for disinfectant, diluted. And then there's the hospital disinfectant. Again, very strong versions. Where drinking water's got 1 to 4, and then swimming pools are 5 to 10. This little range becomes a perfect long-term antiseptic disinfectant for nose, mouth, throat. This is where we're getting infected. This is where we need to fit it. And God uses chlorine on the inside at this concentration pH. I'm like, why don't I use it from the outside? And when I made it myself, it's basically a mouthful of pool water. But Dr. Ono said it kills all germs in about 5 seconds. That's not bad. And it cost me, well, a teaspoon of bleach, a teaspoon of vinegar, and a gallon of water. What's that, a penny? 5 pennies for a gallon of this stuff? Now, well, we'll finish the presentation here. Chlorine is useful. 1 to 5 is drinking water. 1 to 10 is drinking water in pools. 5 to 20, that's the range. Any of it works. It all works. If it's a little lower in concentration, it takes a little longer. A little higher, it's a little faster. None of it is. It's all safe. It's all perfect, and you can make it at home. I make it at home. I make it at the dental office. I'm using it everywhere inside there. Somebody spits out their denture, and then we just drop it in some chlorine for a while. It doesn't tear it apart, but it kills the germs in seconds. Yeah, 300, it's a wound solution. So it's always, chlorine is always our friend. When God chose it on the inside, I was looking for a problem wherever it was, and it always worked, and I'm not too surprised. Anyway, this is an important one here, maybe the last big one. All right, we said we had 4 bad reservoirs of germs in this building. Symptomatic carriers, sick people. All right. You got the germs are in your saliva, mucus, pus, cough, spray, skin is everywhere. Heavy germ shedding in bodily fluids. You're contagious before symptoms happen. What do? Well, we take some antiseptic, spray mouth, skin, face, surfaces. Now you've got a perfect antiseptic here. It becomes, well, you got a paper towel. Every paper towel becomes now an antiseptic wet wipe. Germ-killing water. You can use it on the face, everything here. And you can make it yourself. What about the surfaces? Well, that's what I said. Spray it on the high-touch surfaces so everything gets in your area. If you've been sick, if you've not been sick. Dentures and partial, please. Horrific numbers of all the worst germs and fungi. And they breathe 24/7, and you snore and it gets in your lung. And pneumonia is the #1 killer of old folks. They never asked, are you wearing a denture? Doctors don't see mouths, don't see dentures, don't ask, don't tell. 1995, they did ask. We got a MRSA problem on dentures. What are we going to do about it, dentists? Crickets. Nothing. They gave them nothing. So doctors ignored it. They had no choice. All right, well, so they're ignoring it, yet we're carrying these germs all over the place. At least the dentures, overnight soak them. Brush, rinse in the morning. Hospital ICUs. That's where the super germs live. They come home at least on the dentures, if not everywhere else. Although we are trying to clean here, but if this is ignored, damn well they come home on the denture. They're antibiotic-resistant lethal infections. Again, overnight soak if you go to the hospital. Just know that this is a problem. Partial dentures, any of the plastic problem. Asymptomatic carriers. If you clean up the other ones first, you get rid of the really sick places, sick people, clean up the areas, and a mouth, clean mouth, you're going to be fine. The little bit of tiny little germs growing somewhere else are not a problem. Audience, participation time. All right, yeah, let me give you, anyway, the paper here. Would you hand these out? This is the slide, so you got a copy of it, everything I've been saying. And I don't know if I need to do this. Literally, if I was going to make a gallon, then I could, but I don't. Gallon of water, not too hard. Kroger's disinfecting bleach. It doesn't do anything, it's just 7.5% hypochlorite. Any vinegar. Gallon of water, teaspoon. That's it, you're done. You got a whole gallon of it. And it's just, all you've done is take, really strong bleach, diluted it way down to here, and then add a little pH, so it is in fact accurate. I'm not going to show off and measure a teaspoon in front of you guys. I trust you guys can do teaspoons still. And 1 teaspoon and 1 teaspoon in 1 gallon. And it's not that complicated, guys. What if I mix vinegar and bleach concentrated? Don't do it. I'm not saying mixing these. I just want to add a little bit in water, please, okay? You go online, never mix bleach with an acid. You'll make chlorine gas. Chemistry's wrong. You could, but nobody's mixing these. I'm just doing this. Anyway, we got that. So the other thing would be, I have pre-mixed 16 ounces of denture disinfectant, if you'd like here, and everybody gets one of these and one of these. You can pass these out. So you got the story I'm telling. You've got your own little spray bottle to test to keep your dentures and your skin and your surfaces clean. If you want to talk about gum disease and how to clean inside, I'll come back later for one of that talk. That's a different couple of chapters in the textbook that God gave me to write. Anyway, almost done. So we're going to take home 16 ounces of chlorine solution. I made it myself. It's 100 parts per million. You actually can test it if you want to play. Oh, I did it here. That's probably the next one. Yeah. You can take it my word for it. This is what we ended up with. But if you want to mix it accurately and test it, you get test strips. Hey, you spray it and it turns gray. Oh, how gray did it turn? Well, we'll say, it's about 100 parts per million or so. So, I've tested the recipe and it's always right. So, it's not that hard to figure out. And even if it's a little bit wrong, 50 is good, 100 is good, 150 is fine, 200 part per million chlorine is FDA approved for a no-rinse sterilization of food. So you can spray it on food. Anyway, it's a good thing to have to try and keep bacteria away from you, especially in a group setting. And because this is where they're concentrated, on us, in us, at the hospital, and on the surfaces. And this will literally help every single one of them. Just kill the darn germs before they get inside you. Please. All right, once a week actually is enough. There's a study that said they used microwaves to kill the germs in 3 minutes in water, and they sterilized the denture. Boom. Patient had yeast infection of the mouth because the denture was covered in yeast, fungus. So all I did was take the denture out, sterilize it once, stuck it back in, took it out again, 1 week later, sterilized it once. The yeast infection in the mouth cleared up. Didn't need medicine, did it the same as the antifungal medicine. So you just clean the denture off. Now all of a sudden your mouth is no longer infected. And the infection naturally fades because it's really being kept on that thing. Anyway, so once a week is a minimum. Every night makes sense, but I mean, if you sterilize it once a week, you're doing good. Your body thanks you. I think it would be great if we had a weekly disinfection day. Again, the dentists don't care about this, and the doctors don't know. So I'm saying, hey, if you guys have a medical staff and you want to play that game, we should be having something saying, hey, all right, every Sunday is denture disinfection day. All right, you're going to church, make sure this thing is at least once overnight cleaned to protect yourself, but also civic. You're protecting everybody else if you're not walking around with awfulness in your mouth. Innocuously, nobody told you. That's what I'm saying. Dentists have turned patients into horrible germ carriers. And I'm trying to fix that if you'll let me. So here I am, about the author. I spent 16 years trying to figure it out. Inventing elder dentistry, what I call geriatric dentistry, which is just taking care of us, keep it as long as you got. I am in contact with Congress. There hopefully will, a dentist, a friend of mine who's the chairman of the wrong committee, of course, getting me to the right committee. So all they want to do in nursing homes, take it out of the mouth and get it clean. They're patients. They're relying on the doctors and the dentist to help them, and yet they ignore the mouth, and that's where all the horrible germs in the hospital are being brewed in nursing home mouths. And yes, Congress can fix it. There's no money in it. The recipe is for pennies. I don't think I'll ever sell it. It's got a cool name. I call it Cervicide. Cervi, get it? Huh? All right. Anyway, that's me. And this is elder dentistry. Yes, this is how I try and take care of patients. Now, it starts with killing the germs in the mouth: gum disease germs, denture germs, cavity germs. You got dry mouth cavities? Would you like not for your bridges not to rot out of your head? You kill the cavity germs that are trying to get in under the cavity. There's a medicine that does that. Discovered in 1969, and the American dentist said, we don't want that because we get paid for cavities. And they didn't. But I use it because why in the world would I want you to fall apart? I've extracted 20,000 teeth in the last 10 years. It's too much, and we don't have to do it. The bacteria don't have to win. We've got a germ-killing chlorine. We've got germ-killing silver medicine. We've got just being smarter. Now we know how the immune system works. If you'd like, I'll come back again. I'll try and spread the idea that everyone with a denture and a partial needs to know to keep each other healthy. And if this was the building that had the cleanest dentures in the world, your guys are going to live a lot longer than everyone else, because that's where the real bad germs are hiding that nobody knows about. So that's my message. I appreciate your attention. If you'd like, everything you saw here is written for you. And if you'd like, if you would give me your name and phone number, we could call and say if you'd like a free appointment, come on in and see what's going on. We do that. I'm just a regular do-it-all dentist for older folks that's trying to do a better job instead of just waiting for us to fall apart. Yes?
What if you don't have dentures or partials?
Well, then wonderful. Then you get to keep your teeth. Let's keep them. You got to kill gab.
Do you gargle or spray?
Me? I brush and literally get a cavity, gum disease germs. For the last 20 years, they've been studying gum disease germs and finding every symptom, every time they use chlorine, it just kills them. And for 20 years, at the end of the study, they say, wow, this really worked. That might be a help someday. We should keep studying. 20 years, and they're still studying chlorine in a I guess, morning and night. Brush, get it between the teeth, and all the gum disease germs are gone. Now you don't have gum disease, your teeth don't fall out. How am I supposed to sell you implants? All right, implants get gum disease. Now I've sold you implants, $48,000 worth of implants. They're going to get gum disease and fall out unless you kill the germs. And yes, that kills the gum disease around implants. Same germs, they die in seconds. If you will make it and apply it, and then this is my best gift to y'all is freedom from mouth germs, because they eat us up. All right, can I get you to write your names in paper, and then I'll stick around and see if you got any questions. Yes, sir.
Okay, I understand the spray, is this the same thing?
It's the same stuff. It's just, if you have a denture, you can have volume. If you don't have a denture, hey, great, you've got
But you don't
three
have
bottles
dentures,
worth.
You can use this,
Yes.
you can use this like this.
I use the same stuff. It all works. I just made it as simple as possible. Overnight, if it kills germs in 15 seconds, I bet it kills all the denture germs overnight.
Well, I didn't wanna use this and get dentures.
Yeah, no, it would be good not to, and I'm fine with it. You can keep your teeth. Yes, wouldn't have to. Anyway. Oh, yeah. All right, we got a paper and pencil or something like that, and if you do that. Pro Dentures, I named the name of the office Pro Dentures. Not that I only do dentures, I do actually do everything else. My wife will tell me that every time. What about the people who don't have dentures? They're not gonna remember a survey. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have, I can't think of the right word, or even just with crowns, do you
Yeah.
have a problem? Or could you potentially have a problem?
Well, yeah, cavities will get into soft roots under crowns. You know, the crown just is a new covering on top. But where the crown ends and the tooth starts is a softer dentin and a dry mouth. The germs are still there, but within a dry mouth, the germs that eat sugar and make, or any carbohydrate, and make acid don't get rinsed away. The acid gets below pH 5.5. This is pH 6, so it's not going to dissolve your teeth. But below 5.5, it's rather acidic. Then the calcium gets melted out away in the tooth, and right underneath the crown, the root turns to rot. And the whole thing breaks off and falls off in there. But if we get a drop of once or twice a year, a drop of medicine soaks in there. If there's cavity, it soaks in and kills it. If there's not, rinses all away. But that seems fairly useful if you're trying to do that. So my hygiene department, Carrie B1, yeah, if you come in here, well, if you want a tooth polishing, that's fine. That's nice to have clean teeth. I've done the same. But really, I'm interested. I just don't want cavities eating away everything that I spent all my life doing here. Because you get sick down here, this follows suit. Whether it's dry mouth or just inattention. I was in the hospital for a week of open heart surgery. I have no idea if I brushed my teeth. I didn't care. So you know, the hospital visits are bad on us, and after a hospital visit, it's nice to clean the denture, clean that, maybe make sure the cavity germs haven't started. My brother-in-law had cancer. Immunotherapy, he got over it, yay! But afterwards, yeah, he came in, he had little cavities everywhere. Put a little drop of medicine everywhere, little spot. The cavity stopped. So he went through a bad period where the bacteria really started going crazy, but a germ killer was able to stop it. A germ killer that doctors know about, but they don't tell us.
I don't mean to.
Yeah, no, it's
take
fine.
all your time up, but, like my dentist, I have 2 artificial knees.
Yeah.
He insists that I take an antibiotic before coming in.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, or?
I find it specious because yes, if the germs are living in your mouth all the time, just brushing your teeth, eating a carrot, flossing your teeth is going to rub the gums, which might bleed, and oh my God, germs are going to get in your bloodstream because you cleaned your teeth. You know, if there's a little bleeding, oh well, germs get in the mouth, blood gets in the mouth, germs get in. But to blame the hygienist and say, oh no, it doesn't matter 24/7, 99 days out of the year, whatever it is, 99 out of 100. The one time germs get in your bloodstream is when she scrubs your teeth. I don't buy it. So they make a big stinking deal about the one time she does it there. I do it. That's fine. You can't buck the system, but do I believe in it? No. What would I rather do? Have no germs in her mouth 365 days a year. And when I get cleaning done, there is no inflammation, infection. There's just no germs in it, or a whole lot less. And it doesn't take much to do that. And the studies all tell us that is going to what's happened. But they don't sell it. There's no way that you can't find this in Kroger. You can buy it. I've got some samples of chlorine mouthwash. What I just made for pennies. They'll sell a bottle of Brio oral squish. Can't say it. And it's got it is what it is. $20 worth of chlorine water in salt water though. And then this is the Vash wound solution that we saw up there, 300 parts per million that doctors use. Again, it's a saltwater solution, and it was like, well, they work really good. I don't think we need to spend that money on it. And if I want to use it, if I want you guys to use it every day and throw it around and clean every surface and soak your dentures in it, why can't I give you the recipe to make it yourself? Do that. Keep yourself clean, really clean, mouth, nose, throat, everywhere. I made the argument cystic fibrosis is cured by breathing in a mist. They're missing two things, cystic fibrosis kids: chlorine and water in their lungs. $300,000, the doctors have put together a three medicine combination that gets 10% more chlorine in their lungs to fix the broken part. And they get a whole lifetime. Everything works. It's amazing. 10% of chlorine in the lungs helps them. I look at it like, why aren't they just breathing the stuff? You know, give them an aerosol. But again, I can't do that. That's going to have to be through Congress. They'll shut me down. Yes, sir.
Okay, you use this to spray in your mouth to
I
kill
do,
the
yeah.
germ. How about your nose? You do anything for that? Or you-
Yes. I have patients who love it, and a neti pot, and they're spraying it in the nose. If you have allergy issues and bacteria, sinus infection, absolutely. Everywhere, it's completely safe for any of the mucosa. I'm going with mouth, because that's where we need to start, and that's where the worst germs are. But you're exactly right. I made the argument, exactly how I did this in the book. I started, we're gonna clean the mouth. All right, what about a nose? What about the throat? What about smokers and allergy folks? Would a chlorine rinse help all that? And the answer is yes. Because that's what God uses on the inside to kill the germs and turn off inflammation. So like, what do I want to do? I want to kill the germs and turn off inflammation. And it costs nothing? We can't tell anyone about that. I find that being kind of mean. So I'm telling you, you can choose not to. But if you ask me, what do? I got one in my car, brush teeth. And yeah, if I had nose issues and lung issues, I would be trying to do that more. If you'd like a copy of the manuscript, it's not published. I don't know that I can get it published. It's not, it's a lot of science. I enjoy doing it. But as far as what do we need to know? Yeah, clean a mouth, clean a denture, keep it clean around here. Beware of symptomatic patients and people who come back from the hospital and who wear dentures, especially because they need cleaning. And now we know how to do that. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Did everyone get any? That's it.
We ran out of the bottle.
We ran out of the big bottles?
Yeah.
All right, well, so be it. I'll come back if you'd like.